Hey everyone, this is Conor back here with another video for the Cinema Vibes page / channel. As we said on the page, or you probably saw it, we will be all doing our reviews of Avengers Endgame. We're trying a new format here. We're all going to be doing a separate review. I think Brian and Colin were going to try to do one together, so that will be a co-one. And then some point during the month, we will do a roundtable discussion and just go over everything that's happened in film up until that point. I really like this format, and I think it should be a lot easier scheduling-wise for everyone. Like the page said, we will all be getting our reviews out either this weekend or over the course of this upcoming week. So look out for that. So it will be audio or written on the page or even a video face-to-face, like you can see our face. Mine will be audio, as you can probably tell. So let's get right into it. So Avengers Endgame is the culmination of 21 prior MCU movies. It's directed by the Russo brothers, who have done 3 other prior MCU movies, and this apparently will be their last one. The other 3 are Avengers Infinity War, Captain America Civil War, and Captain America the Winter Soldier. So all very good films in their own right. We'll start out by saying I absolutely loved this movie, purely based off the fact that this is a movie made by fans for the fans. The Russo brothers obviously know what they're doing, as shown in the prior 3 films that they've made, but this just is taken to a whole new level. This will be a very spoiler-heavy review. As you've probably seen in other reviews of the film, it is very hard to do a non-spoiler review because of how little they showed in the actual trailers. So there will be a part where I talk spoilers and non-spoilers. I will make it apparent when I start the spoilers. The non-spoiler part will be pretty short because of how hard it is to actually talk about the movie. But by now, if you haven't seen it, then you're missing out. The movie does start out pretty slow for the most part. The first, I'd say, hour is a slow burn, don't get me wrong, and I really like that. That was probably one of the best parts of the first half of the movie, was the slow burn and the build up to the second half of the movie. They give characters already completed character arcs more to their characters. Like, I will talk about in the spoiler section what I liked and disliked. The performances in this movie are 10s across the board. The character development, though, throughout the movie is another thing. There are a lot of characters that I liked what they did with the character. On the other hand, I wasn't 100%, if you want to say that. But I'll talk about that in the spoiler section. But this is after the snap in Infinity War, and it really is just how the Avengers deal with it. And that's just about everything I can tell you, because that's just about everything they show in the actual trailer. I know that's not a lot of information, but you have to go experience this movie. Don't go on any comment sections or social media. Just listen to everyone that's seen the movie. Listen to us, because we'll all tell you the same thing. Just go and watch this movie and experience it. Yes, it's 3 hours. The biggest thing for me after watching it, it did not feel like 3 hours. It felt like a 90-minute movie. So I'm going to get into spoilers now. All right, this is a spoiler time. Spoilers in 3, 2, 1. And in this section, I'm going to talk about what I liked and disliked about the entire movie. I'm not going to do a full breakdown of the entire movie. That would be way too much information to throw at people and way too much in one video. Some stuff that I liked was the opening of the movie, where Hawkeye's family is snapped out of existence, and you really see Jeremy Renner, who is amazing in this movie, his emotion break through after that. I enjoyed that opening scene and how it phases him into being the Ronin character, which is kind of like an evil version of Hawkeye where he goes to Japan and, you know, he's killing people. I really enjoyed that. I liked the shock value that when the Avengers immediately go after Thanos. I said this a couple of weeks in advance of the movie. I thought, you know, they were going to go right after him. I didn't think they were going to kill him because he's the main villain of the story. I think as everyone was in the theater, they were shocked. I did like the time travel aspect of it. And the movies that they went back to and the times that they went back to, I was surprised by. Mainly Thor 2, when they went back to Asgard. Knowing that movie isn't the best, probably one of the worst MCU movies. I was surprised they went back to there. The one that I liked the best was the 1970s. I know that's getting a little hate here and there from people. I did love when Tony and his dad talked. That scene was really good because I thought that was a turning point for Tony's character throughout the movie. That was really good. The New York City scene when they go back to the first Avengers was really good. The fan service in this movie is overall pretty fantastic. And of course, the final hour is just movie magic because you hear "on your left," and once you hear that line, it just goes off the rails crazy. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm saying that it is an amazing thing because the end battle of this movie is something I never thought I needed. And boy, do I wish I wish I could take more of that. The gauntlet football, that's what I'm calling it, where throughout that end battle scene, people are passing around the gauntlet. Thanos is trying to get it. I really enjoyed that. Everyone is in this movie, just about. They don't show that at all in the trailer, of course, but everyone's back in this movie from Hope Van Dyne to all the Black Panther's back, Spider-Man's back, and even at Tony's funeral scene, which Tony Stark does die in this movie, which was, again, amazing scene. I'll talk about that in a little bit. But Harley Keener is back, played by Ty Simpkins, who was in Iron Man 3. I really thought that was a cool little add-on there because, you know, he was such a small character, and that was a couple years ago, that movie. But the main parts that were my favorite were, of course, how they closed out Tony Stark and Captain America's character arcs in this movie. Tony does die after snapping with the Infinity Stones with the gauntlet, after stealing the stones from Thanos in the end battle scene there. The way that entire scene plays out, Doctor Strange holding up the finger saying it's the one way to win. Tony then realizes what he has to do. I love that. The funeral scene is a thing of beauty. I actually teared up both times I saw it. And Captain America gets his dance with Peggy. I really thought that was the only way to close out his character arc, and I was calling that from months before this movie came out. I said that if he doesn't get his dance or somehow gets back with Peggy, I'd be very disappointed. But really, that's the things that I liked. You can go and watch. I think other people from this page will probably have a breakdown version of this. I'm just going to go through the positives and negatives of the movie. I just went over the positives. Now to the negatives, I only have a couple. Like I said in the beginning, this movie is near perfect, or if it is, it's perfect. The couple negatives I have are the characters, mainly Captain Marvel. I still am not 100% on Brie Larson. This is not me hating on her. She's a great actress. Don't get me wrong. Room is one of the best performances I've ever seen from her. But the way she acts through this character, just I can't believe her in this role. And MCU is known for its amazing casting and picking the right people for these parts, but I'm not sure on this one if they picked the right person. And the way that they utilize her, I'm glad they didn't just bring her in and she's this all-powerful person that just immediately kills Thanos. Glad they didn't do that, but the screen time that they used and just the overall use of the character was kind of confusing for me throughout the movie. Professor Hulk is, Banner and Hulk mixing the brains and the brawn. They explained that in the beginning of the movie. It was kind of an ongoing joke, if you want to say, for me at least, if that was intentional or not. After second viewing, I liked it a little more. It was so out of place, I feel like, at times. It looked just weird. It took a while to get used to. I'm not saying I hated it. It was just, it's something I think with time I'll get used to, and I'll like it more in future viewings. And then the last thing I wasn't 100% on was the Black Widow and Hawkeye scene on Vormir. That was probably my biggest negative, I want to say. Don't get me wrong. I love the way that they killed off Black Widow. That's why I didn't talk about it before. I just wanted to talk about this in a separate section. Black Widow and Hawkeye have to go to Vormir. They have to get the Soul Stone. They don't know that they have to sacrifice one which they love. I would have been fine if they killed off either of these characters. Neither of them have really had a character arc. Both of them are kind of just in the background of the movies, every movie that they're in. I know Black Widow does have a solo movie coming out in 2020, which is why I'm confused on why they killed the character off. Maybe they have plans with her, and maybe she's still alive. I was just confused on that entire scene, and it kind of dragged out a little longer than it needed to be, but really that's all I have negative-wise. There's nothing incredible that bothered me so much that took me out of the movie. I will say, though, that this movie should and deserves Oscar buzz, and I really hope it gets nominated for a couple of things. I think Robert Downey Jr. should be nominated for Best Actor, Best Supporting Actor, maybe Best Visual Effects should be a win for this. Best Score could be a possibility. I really think this deserves a couple of nominations, which, after the culmination of these 22 movies, you'd expect the Academy or something to give this franchise little love that it needs. And really, I think this movie, again, is a perfect way to end the saga. And really, it teared me up after and multiple times during the movie. It really is a great movie. Go and watch it. Go and experience it. It is, as of right now, it is 60-70 million away from beating Avatar. It just broke 2 billion, which is incredible for 2 weekends. But like I said, go watch this movie. It's so worth it. I hope you enjoyed my review, and look out for everyone else's review on the page.